Hey guys, Son Husky here. Welcome back to a new Wizard101 video. This is a little bit of a different type of video. As you know, I am working on a Death Masterclass series, and our current upcoming slide thing that I'm doing for the Masterclass is all about spell deck preparation and everything. But I thought I would do a quick little short video about spell decks as a whole for everybody. This is sort of like an off-brand sort of teaching moment, and I'm going to do it all in-game. So I'm going to buy this spell deck here. Has 30 cards. Okay, so first things first. When you buy your when you get a spell deck, and when you have... Okay, let me go to that set spell deck. Let's go ahead and go to... oh, where is it? It's probably on the first page. Yes, here. Okay, so you just bought your new spell deck. Don't mind any of this. This is from gear and pets. Will come down here. This will be down here. You don't need to worry about this. If you are trying to... And I will go over this when we do it. Okay, so let's say you are level... I don't know. You just got your... Okay, so you have your Dark Sprite. Maybe... Okay, let's just put some cards in here that you would have at about level 25. You'd probably have this. You'd probably have some of these. You'd probably have a couple of these. Okay, so let's say this is what you're running. Now, you might not actually be running this, but when you learn a new spell, let's say you just learned Skeletal Pirate. When you learn that spell, it will automatically be put in your spell deck. So, there you go. Now, did you know that as you continue to, you'll just, over time, your spell deck will fill up with random cards that you've trained. Now, as much as this is helpful, especially if you learn a new spell and you didn't remember to put it in, it does it for you, which is great. Until you realize you get into a fight and you can't find the card that you're trying to use. Happened to you in your first playthrough, right? Or if you didn't understand how the spell deck system works, you wouldn't have realized that your cards are now overflowing your spell deck, and now you can't get the card that you want to use. Well, how do I go about making sure I don't have this problem? Well, the answer is quite simple. There is a clear all spells and decks section where you can just clear it out, and now you can now fill your deck accordingly with what cards you would want. So in my case, if I was level 25, let's go ahead and just fill this up with what we would want. We probably want a couple blades, so put a couple of those in. 2 of each, for simplicity. Maybe a couple traps. Definitely would probably want this. And then we would probably want some hitting spells. But I would probably go for, like, Skeletal Pirate, a couple Skeletal Pirates, 2 vampires, 2 of these. And if I was really neat, and let's say I did actually have the ability to use School Pips, a couple of these. There you go. I have made... So, what is the difference between the first that's sort of all over the place that we had and this? Well, firstly, this is going to give you the cards that you want to come up more often, which is very helpful. So, it may have taken you multiple turns to get your blade, but now with how few cards we have in this section here, you're going to get the Death Blade up more often. You're going to get your Spirit Blade up more often. Same thing with your Feint, your traps, and even your hitting spells. So it makes you get turns where you actually have something you can do instead of just spam discarding your spell deck, which is very helpful. So another misconception, obviously, is, well, you could also do the same thing with your treasure cards. Let's just go to our show all treasure cards. Let's just put RAM cards in. Don't do this normally, but let's just put a whole bunch of RAM cards in. Okay, there you go. Spell deck is done. Treasure card sideboard is done. Is it? Is it really done? Well, yes and no. Yes, it's done in the fact that you have a spell deck with cards in it. You have treasure cards you can pull. The problem is, do these really do anything for you? Not really, unless you're fighting, like, let's say you're fighting a death. Yeah, you could use Nature's Wrath, but that's not going to help you much, because you don't have, it's not like you're going to be getting power pips to use Nature's Wrath with, or your Colossus, or these Ice Blades. So, what I would do is, this is another helpful thing. Just put in cards that you think you could use to just pull if you need to discard and try and pull something. So like curses, maybe extra blades, maybe a couple extra death blades if you want them, couple feints. Heck, maybe even put in some plagues like this for some extra defensive capability. Or even if we had Terror Shields, like there we go, we have some defense. The one thing that I think a lot of players, new and sort of people that have been playing for a while, if you haven't really tried, try to run a spell deck small like this with minimal hits, but also have some more sort of utility spells in your sideboard as well. You will probably see an increase in probably a lot of your you'll also see a lot of efficiency and damage output, which is good because you want to kill. You usually want to try and kill as quickly as possible. That's usually the name of the game. And with said utilities in your sideboard, you can do that. Does that mean you shouldn't put cards like this in your main part of your deck? Of course not. You should put you should put your utility cards in your main deck, but also have sideboard alternatives if you don't pull these. And that will increase the speed of which you complete your battles. It will change how your pace of game goes. Not including, obviously, the gear and everything, but you will probably see a lot of increasing in your entire gameplay, and you'll probably enjoy it more because, if you're dying because you're not getting the cards you want, then it probably is just, you need to just sort of change the way you're thinking about how you're building your spell deck. And obviously, they don't tell you that, they don't tell you this. They don't tell you this, and videos about it, they'll tell you that, hey, you should shorten your spell deck so you only have what you need, but they don't sort of go over the sort of hows and whys it matters to have such a small spell deck like this. The why of it is because it helps speed up game and battle immensely for your side. If you want to get stuff done quickly on your end, you shorten your spell deck, you put utilities in here, you get your damage increased, and you just go to town. You start questing quick. You will quest a lot quicker with a deck that looks like this, and a sideboard with this, than you would with the super, spell cards to the max. Now, if you want to play spell cards to the max, go right ahead. Nobody's gonna... Now, people might complain if you're in the higher levels of gameplay, like at late game, like 180, doing raids, doing advanced content. Yeah, people are probably gonna flame you if you are, digging constantly for spell cards. But this is one thing that you really should start doing early on in your playthrough. As soon as you get a new spell, look at it, see what it does, and if you don't need it, get it out of your spell deck. If you can use it, maybe put 1 or 2 copies in. Because having, obviously you have your max copies, but, you don't need to all, if you feel, yeah, you could go ahead and just, I don't know, if you really love Skeletal Pirate, you could just put 5 Skeletal Pirates in here. Is that going to make sure you get your Skeletal Pirate up more? Yeah. Does it mean you're going to get other cards up as often? No. You're going to get other cards up less often. So, I think this is probably, for lower levels, I would call this the rule of 2. If it's a card that you need, put at least 2 copies of it in. If it's a blade or a trap, maybe put a third one in if you need it, if you really need it, if the battle does draw on. But the rule of 2 is probably is going to be the key for me. 2 copies of any given spell card, no matter what it is, because usually every fight that you're going to do is a 1-on-2, 2v1. You are the 1, then there's going to be 2 enemies. So you at least have a trap for both enemies. You have a blade, usually. But, you know, things can change. There are certain areas that you will probably maybe have a team where you actually get an extra enemy. That doesn't matter. Still just utilize the 2 rule. The 2 max copy rule. Even though it says max copies of 5, you can have 5 of a death spell. That doesn't mean you should have 5 copies of that spell. Like I said, once again, if you want to do it like that, go right ahead. But you're going to really slow down the progress that you're making on a daily if you do that. I'm not, you know, this is just the hard reality of it. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. This is a game. We're trying to have fun. And I'm just trying to help you get to, you know, and mainly what this coaching stuff is for is so that you can better understand the game so you can have more fun with the game. Anyways, hopefully this little video does help clarify some stuff about your spell deck and how to better optimize it for your future battles, your future questing endeavors, and maybe you can go and start teaching other people this proper, you know, this sort of rule, this 2 max copy rule. I like the max copy of 2 in my gameplay. It really makes my questing a lot easier and simpler, and it really has helped me a lot, and hopefully it helps you guys too. So that will be all of it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys when the next part of the Death Masterclass revamp chapter comes out. It will be all about the spell decks, so I would definitely highly, if you are looking forward to it, be sure to give it a look once it comes out. I am going to be working hard on the slides, hoping I can get everything properly set up and worded, and I will see you guys when that comes out. Have a great one, and I'll see you